Crypto Unqualified.
Today is Friday, June 7th, 2019, and this is Crypto Unqualified, bringing you unique perspectives on everything crypto. My name is Nathan. Across the table from me is the man, the myth, the legend, the interpretive dancer, the most talented balloon animal puppet master I've ever met, Benjamin.
So we're going to kick it off with the market cap, which right now is sitting at $259.7 billion. With the Bitcoin price sitting at just at 8,100. Going down the list of the top 10 cryptocurrencies based on market cap, we've got Bitcoin, Ethereum, Ripple, Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash, EOS, Binance Coin, Bitcoin SV, Tether, and Stellar rounding out the top 10. Moving now over to Blocktivity, which shows blockchain activity. We've got EOS at number 1, Kin at number 2, Tron at number 3, Steam at number 4, Bitcoin at number 5, BitShares at number 6, Ethereum at number 7, Wax at number 8, MHC, which I still have no idea what that is, at number 9, and Telos rounding out the top 10.
I've got Crypto Miso pulled up, which Crypto Miso tracks GitHub activity. You can see how active said GitHub is with development. And number 1 is Insular. This is the last 3 months. Insular has been at the top for a while.
I think it's been at the top for a long time.
Yeah. Number 2 is Elf, and number 3, you're gonna like this, is Lisk.
Yay!
Yeah. Benjamin loves Lisk.
I do.
Yeah.
I'm a Lisk fan.
I'm happy for you.
Yeah, they bumped up. They were sitting at number 6 for commits, and now they're at number 3.
Stepping up their game.
Yeah, good job, guys.
Just for you. How do you got the Bitcoin chart pulled up? You want to talk about that?
Yeah, we can. So looking at the daily Bitcoin price chart, this is on the Bitstamp exchange. We have price sitting now kind of fluctuating between $8,100 and about $8,000. Price took a bit of a dip after hitting resistance right at around the 8,900 level, just shy. Man, it looks like it tagged 9,000 and then pulled back, had a hard time getting through, and then sold off. It went down to about $7,400 before finding support, and it's looking to try to resume the rally. And on my daily Bitcoin price chart, I've got a parabolic curve, which price has been following. And what's noteworthy about that is typically what you'll see if price breaks down below that curve, a sell-off ensues. However, it doesn't look like that's what it's going to show for us. The price is now correcting. It's trying to get back up and on track with that parabolic movement, and I've got that movement. If we can continue, the next stop for it to find a pullback level is about $13,000. And Nate is actually gone. He belly crawled out of here.
Let it go.
You want me to fill you in?
No. No.
No. Don't know. Don't care.
I think one of the biggest news stories over the past week or so is that Binance is going to, as of July 1st, no longer accept U.S. citizens. There's been some misinformation out there, because at first when this story broke, the story was that it was the new decentralized, the DEX Binance that wasn't going to allow U.S. citizens, but actually, in fact, it's quite the opposite. I don't know why it keeps getting tossed around that way, but it's Binance's exchange that will no longer accept U.S. citizens as of July 1st. So we would recommend everybody get their coins off of there if you're a U.S. citizen. And I know I've been working on it over the last week. One coin that I can give you an update on there as far as getting it off is Zilliqa, because Zilliqa had launched its mainnet. Binance was one of the exchanges that was going to swap out for the new Zilliqa, the new native token. And if you go to the Zilliqa deposit tab on Binance and just push on it, you'll be able to tell if there's still a Ethereum address tied to it. It'll start with OX if it's still Ethereum based, and it'll start with ZIL if it's already been transferred to the mainnet token. So as long as it's got the ZIL in front of it, you can then transfer it out to one of the new wallets that has to do with Zilliqa's mainnet.
And these types of issues with exchanges, it's not uncommon. 29 different countries, the United States included, are not going to be able to use the Binance exchange proper anymore. Now, the decentralized exchange, it is decentralized. By definition, it can't have those types of geographic constraints on it. And but that was the story that was getting floated around. I mean, that was the story everywhere. The Binance DEX was no longer going to be allowing U.S. citizens, and that was just completely incorrect information. And even after CZ, who owns Binance, or is the CEO, even after he corrected the mistake, people have continued to report it.
I mean, it sucks that Binance, has done that. I mean, it's a great exchange. I was kind of bummed at first, but it's kind of given me a reason just to get stuff off of there regardless, and set some wallets up that I've been meaning to do.
It's never a good idea to just keep funds on exchange. It's easy, granted, but exchanges are an attack vector. And that means that every minute of every day, somebody is trying to crack into one of those exchanges and exploit it for its security vulnerabilities. And that's when you have hacks and funds go missing. And if it's not on an exchange that has a contingency plan for that type of an event, they go under and your funds go with them. And so as a general rule, if you don't own the private keys to your funds, you don't own those funds. The exchange owns them. And if they're just sitting on exchange, they're far more vulnerable than if they're sitting in your own possession in a wallet you control the keys to.
So, Kik is about to be in a legal battle with the SEC. The SEC is suing Kik.
Are they like a Kickstarter?
No, it's a messaging app. At one time, Kik was a major messaging app in the U.S., and it was especially popular with children and teenagers.
Wait, so is it blockchain related?
Only when they launched an ICO. Before, it was not blockchain related. They were a company. So it says at one time, Kik was a major messaging app in the U.S., and it was especially popular with children and teenagers. Unfortunately, this popularity contributed to it becoming the de facto app for child predators.
Ooh.
According to report released 2017, as it lost users and its revenue declined toward the end of the year, the SEC alleges that the company sought to use the ICO as a Hail Mary pass to reverse its fortunes. At the time, Kik said its goal was to create a platform for app developers and users, allowing them to pay one another using the decentralized currency. So the SEC thinks it was a last-ditch effort to not go bankrupt, and Kik's arguing that that's not the case, and they're going to battle it out. Boom. And Kik is trying to raise money for their fight. It says they've already raised $4.3 million in donations.
Wow.
With their crowdfunding campaign called defendcrypto.org.
Good luck, Kik.
I think the biggest news out of the week would have been last week, but is the new social media platform that's going to be launched on EOS, the Voice.
Yeah, and we don't. You can go and sign up for the beta by just going to voice.com, and it's a social media network that aims to incentivize and reward the users for the content that they create, which, if you compare that to how typical social media platforms monetize their users for personal and private gain, it's quite the contrast.
So this was a big announcement. Block.one had said June 1st there's going to be this major announcement, It kind of leaked out before that via Bloomberg. It's my understanding they got a hold of this information, leaked it out early, which they weren't supposed to do. Shame on you, Bloomberg.
We think social networking is due for a major rework, from bot mobs to the data tracking to shady algorithms behind our feeds. Social media has not been a good friend to us. Which is, in large part, that's true.
This could be huge. I mean, it just needs to scale, and it needs adoption, just like anything else.
Well, if it's on
blockchain.
EOS, it's going to scale.
Yeah.
The adoption is the tricky part. But if they're incentivizing users, I mean, if I can do all the same things through voice as a social media platform that I currently do on Facebook, which is mostly post things about our show, keep up with friends and family, and post pictures about my kids to those friends and family. If I can do all those things, that's not asking a whole lot. And then I can get paid to do it rather than having somebody else monetize my content and keep those profits. Dude, I'm all about that. I think a lot of people would be.
I hope it does well.
I think
I'll use it.
Yeah. I'm hoping that there'll be a mass exodus from the centralized social media platforms.
From Facebook.
Yeah.
Facebook has over 2 billion users. That's amazing.
They could stand to lose a few.
That's like quarter of the global population, right?
It's impressive.
What about this controversial, yeah? That controversial. What about this controversial luncheon between Justin Sun and Warren Buffett?
Luncheon.
Justin Sun paid over $4 million to have the annual lunch date with mega investor, world-renowned investor Warren Buffett.
So Justin Sun is the CEO of Tron.
Yep.
Tron is a platform blockchain similar to that of Neo and Ethereum and EOS and the like. And the guy is a marketing genius.
Yeah.
My opinion of Tron is that it's less scammy than originally I would have said. However, Justin Sun doesn't seem any less scammy to me. And the fact that he's willing to spend $4.5 million just to sit and have lunch with a guy who's called Bitcoin rat poison, that just seems like a total publicity stunt. It's a waste of money. You could take that money and put it to a team of 30 people and pay them for a year to develop blockchain technology. Or you could go and sit and have lunch with an old dinosaur who doesn't care about blockchain. Whatever.
Warren Buffett has said about Bitcoin, probably rat poison squared.
Yeah. And maybe that's just posturing. Maybe he's just blowing smoke and he's actually investing behind the scenes.
Justin Sun has money to spend. I mean, look at it this way. I mean, like I think in the video I tried to post earlier this week about this particular news clip, I mean, Justin Sun he's not stupid, right? He has money. I mean, over a quarter of Tron are still locked up. So I mean, you would have to assume those are in Justin Sun's hands. So $4 million's nothing for him, and I think it's a win-win situation. Worst case scenario, Warren Buffett comes out of this luncheon and says, Justin Sun's an idiot. It all still sucks, which, whatever. Best case scenario, he has this newfound understanding for blockchain, cryptocurrency, and maybe would consider it a new asset class.
I think none of those things are possible.
What's the outcome you see?
I think the outcome is $4.5 million went to charity, and Justin Sun's going to go have a nice lunch.
Yeah.
I think that's about it. There is 0% chance that Warren Buffett, as the most skilled investor in history, doesn't have a team of people already educating him on what blockchain is or what Bitcoin is. And the fact that people think that this one guy who pisses away $4.5 million to go and sit and have lunch is going to change Warren Buffett's mind about blockchain.
Yeah.
Or like, he has an agenda. That's the only reason why he did it. Warren Buffett gives no about that.
What if he did, though?
Well, then I would eat crow.
I mean, what if?
You can send that crow to P.O. Box.
I mean,
I just don't see it. I think
do we know when it's going to happen?
Generally speaking, I'm just annoyed by the whole thing.
Are you really?
Yeah.
I think it's funny.
See it as a waste.
I think it's entertainment. A waste of what? The money went to charity.
Right. It's just a waste. It's just a waste of my time.
Reading it is a waste of your time?
Yes. I'll never get those minutes back. And talking about it now, it's just compounding that wasted time.
Oh, man. Wow.
Killed that one.
He even had coffee and food this morning.
You know what I didn't have is a Snickers.
Haters be hating, man. Haters be hating.
Benjamin
loves Justin Sun.
You know what? I think it's less about the fact that I don't care for Justin Sun, which he does what he does. I think what bugs me the most is the fact that people still feel like they need to pander to the likes of Warren Buffett. We don't. Warren Buffett's going to die a very rich man and still never care about crypto. Why does he care about crypto? He has a bajillion dollars.
Well, I think that's a good point. I mean, he has something that's worked for years.
Yeah.
You know, he doesn't need crypto.
He doesn't care. He doesn't need it.
Although he is invested in some of these financial institutions that are aimed to be hurt if they don't change their game, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So he should.
And that's why he's calling Bitcoin rat poison.
Right. Well, arguably the banks are the rats. What else we got? What do you got? What you got?
Actually, I want to find the Poloniex.
Oh, yes. Good.
Poloniex.
Yeah. While you're talking about that, there was a little story that came out that the Reserve Bank of India was going to draft up a new bill completely banning cryptocurrency. And it went as far as to saying that if you were using cryptocurrency, you could face up to 10 years in prison. That story has now been claimed false, and they're now saying that they have zero knowledge in regards to that draft bill of banning cryptocurrency entirely.
Somebody, and this isn't unheard of in the crypto and blockchain space either, people are just trying to spread FUD to affect the markets.
Sure. We see that all the time. Yeah.
China did it.
We've seen that, just that story alone. Like, I mean, how many times you heard of India banning cryptocurrency?
Yeah, we've talked about it before.
Yeah.
So a couple of weeks after the Poloniex exchange came up short to the tune of 1,800 Bitcoin, valued at the time at over 14 million, as a result of a botched margin trade on an obscure altcoin. The US-based exchange announced their intention to distribute the losses among its margin holders and lenders. So let me bake that down into a sentence you can actually understand. Somebody was trading on Poloniex, some random coin, and they were leveraged, right? They lost. They got liquidated. Price went against their position, blown up account. There's still a deficit that is owed. The exchange says, no problem. We'll let everybody that's using the exchange cover that loss.
And that is in the fine
Done.
writing somewhere?
Yes.
I mean, that's...
Yep.
They're going to lose a lot of customers, I would think.
You would be surprised. So people, I don't know what the heck is wrong with people. Other exchanges have done it. Bitfinex has done it. Socialized losses. They like to privatize the gains and socialize the losses. And people will stick around through it. So they were sure to point out the fact that, and here it is. Poloniex claims that the affected users make up only 0.4% of total users, who necessarily cannot include U.S. residents, as these customers cannot trade using margin as of November 2018. For these users who have outstanding Bitcoin loans through the exchange, each loan will face a 16% haircut on the principal sum, regardless of whether or not those users were trading that altcoin.
Did you say haircut?
Haircut, yeah.
Huh. Yeah.
Haircut on their
Interesting
on their
analogy.
total bounce. The distribution of losses, commonly referred to as socializing losses, is often the last resort for crypto exchanges when margin trading goes wrong, and the precise reason why exchanges hold insurance funds. So, yeah, that if you're on Poloniex or you're thinking about using it or currently using it, maybe you want to reevaluate that relationship.
That's the first time I've heard of something like that happening, but you said it's been going on, although that's the first time I've heard of it.
Yeah. Bitfinex has done. I don't know how many other exchanges have done it, but it has happened before. And I saw, look this up, please. I saw that it's supposed to be illegal for a U.S. entity to socialize losses like that. It's against the law. I'm curious.
Yeah, you can't. Well, how could you take somebody's money to just take it? I mean, in that sort of way.
And why would they make the users cover those losses? It just, like, all of that is just baffling to me.
Yeah. So we've you got anything more?
No,
on that?
that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we've heard for a while about Facebook, how they were going to be launching this their own stable coin, and it looks like they're actually getting close to doing that. This new news says that Facebook sources say that the stablecoin white paper will come out on June 18th. So that's just a little over a week away. It says previously rumors had suggested it would be 2020 before Facebook made a commitment to bring its product, which should focus on remittances to market. It's currently scheduled for a June 18th release of a white paper explaining its cryptocurrency's basics, TechCrunch states. It says the value of Facebook coin will be secured with a basket of fiat currencies. So not just one country's currency, but many different currencies. I think they have to do that because they're so big.
Yeah.
I mean, I think if you're in...
They can't be beholden to one peg.
Right. So, I don't really have an opinion about this yet. I don't know enough about it.
Yeah, it's hard to have an opinion on it when you don't have. There's no real information to go on. One thing that we do know is that that Facebook is selling the nodes that are going to secure the global coin network, and they're selling them. Are you ready for this? Have you seen this?
No.
$10 million a piece.
Really?
So for you
to have a Facebook node,
to run a Facebook node, and they're running 100 of them, they're selling all of these nodes for $1 billion.
Without giving anybody the incentives yet? I mean, why would you buy a node if you don't even know what the incentive is?
Yeah, details on how ownership of a node will generate revenue for its operators have not yet been released. The benefit of owning a global coin network node is that it guarantees a seat on the foundation governing the cryptocurrency. So probably there will be fees that they can
accrue.
Yeah, accrue from people that are using the global coin, kind of like Bitcoin miners, or or block producers.
We have no idea what the consensus mechanism is going to be for transactions on this coin either, right? There's no word's been out if it's proof of work, proof of stake. I guess that's what we wait to see what the white paper is going to say.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine paying $10 million for a node without knowing what form of consensus is going to.
Well, if it's anything like what block producers get, block producers for the EOS network make a pretty penny.
Sure.
I want to say they get about at least $10,000 per day as a block producer.
Right.
That adds up really quickly.
Right.
So as an investment strategy, if they have to spend 10 million and they're making tens of thousands per day, they'll recoup that, in no time.
So Juan Villaverde wrote, longer-term Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies are now in a long-term bull market, and one key reason is their powerful potential to truly disrupt the financial system as we know it today. Still, many analysts don't see it that way. They think it's apps like Apple Pay, Google Pay, and Alipay that could challenge the global financial system, even replacing banks with their new payment platforms.
I think it's all going to go towards the same end, which is disruption of the financial system.
Sure.
As it's existed forever.
I agree.
I agree.
I concur.
I concur with you concurring.
I concur, and I have nothing else.
All right, we're gonna cap off the show today with a blockchain news lightning round, and this is just a tit for tat on headlines that we have not looked into even a little bit
and know nothing about.
No, but that's generally how we operate.
We're just gonna say it and then give an opinion and move on.
Yeah. Ready?
Set.
Go.
Bitcoin bullish FOMO now over. BTC about to crash? Question mark.
I like how you added the question mark.
Yeah.
Probably not.
Probably not.
Probably not.
Okay.
Ripple was in the news recently after 23 million Ripple were reportedly stolen.
I could give 2 Fs. Yeah, I could give 2 Fs. I mean, steal them. Steal all of them.
Nice.
You know I love Stellar. I could care less about Ripple. So
It's true.
Litecoin creator meets U.S. presidential candidate. LTC hash rate reaches all-time high.
The happening event for Litecoin, because Litecoin is just based off of the Bitcoin protocol, it's coming up on its halving event. And
Same time?
No,
May?
I don't think. Actually, I don't know if it's the same time. It's a good question. But what I do know is price has been rallying. If you look back at the Litecoin chart over the last 6 months, it's just a steady climb, man. And even though Litecoin is, for all intents and purposes, worthless, it's going to go up.
It's got a big community, though. Communities, it's like we talked about that earlier. When you've invested your own money into these projects, and not only that, these projects have made you a lot of money, you feel kind of married to them. You know, you want to support them because you just feel like you're just kind of blind love.
Yep. Speaking of blind love, people are still using Bitfinex. One of the world's most controversial exchanges posted $1.3 million in Bitcoin stolen from Bitfinex has now been transferred to a different Bitcoin address.
IRS to issue new guidance on Bitcoin tax. I mean, they've been dragging their feet, right? Like, nobody can seem to get the regulations out and the communication out, clear verbiage on what we are supposed to do with our Bitcoin, with our cryptocurrency in general.
Is it a commodity? Is it a security? Is it property?
Yeah.
Is it money?
It's kind of all the above in a lot of senses, supposedly.
Better late than never. Bitcoin mining consumes more electricity than New Zealand.
Wow.
I didn't know. Why are they picking on New Zealand?
I feel like they just looked at the number, then they started searching countries.
Like, who can we compare this to?
Yeah, like they found New Zealand.
Like, that's not a surprise.
Because it's kind of big, but kind of not big. I mean, if you would have said Hawaii, that wouldn't have been impressive. If you would have said, like, Fiji, you know, you'd be like...
Bitcoin consumes more electricity than Omaha, Nebraska.
MIT professor claims blockchain technology is not as secure as claimed. I mean, that's kind of vague, like which blockchain, right?
Yeah, and secure how, like to what extent?
How are you going to make me read something?
Yeah, that's
okay.
Dumb. That sounds like clickbait, so we should click on it.
The bottom line is that while the blockchain system represents advances in encryption and security, it is vulnerable in some of the same ways as other technology, as well as having new vulnerabilities unique to blockchain. In fact, human actions or inaction still have significant consequences for blockchain security. I don't know. I don't want to read any more about it.
That's like saying, like, you have a safe deposit box, but it might not be as secure as you think. Because if you give the key to that safe deposit box to somebody who wants to steal from it, you could get robbed.
Well, I think there's nothing that's ever going to be totally secure, right? There's just no way. Unless, I don't know. Maybe if you threw like a quarter in space, it would be secure, but you never get it back. The whole thing made no sense at all.
Good job, MIT.
Yeah.
You just made our eyes glaze over.
You really made me think twice about blockchain. MIT. KEYMOUSE. This is new news. SeattleCrypto.com is a badass website.
That's a fact.
Yeah. That's current.
Current news.
Huge story.
Breaking news.
Huge story.
Breaking news. For more information on blockchain technology, cryptocurrency, and to find the latest episode of the Crypto Unqualified show, just go over to SeattleCrypto.com. You can also reach us on Twitter at
Crypto Kahuna.
And I am at Crypto Light Show.
And that is the show for today. We out.
Crypto Unqualified.